next person that we're going to hear from is Jesse Ortiz with the Yolo County Superintendent of Schools. He's a candidate that brings 31 years of experience as a professional public educator ranging from kinder to university levels. He previously served for 10 years as a Woodland School Board trustee, and currently he's a trustee for the Yolo County Office of Education. He was born and raised in Yolo County. He's a U.S. Marine Corps veteran, era vet. His educational qualifications include he has a doctorate degree in leadership from Brigham Young University. He has a master's degree from Sac State. Go Hornets. How many Hornets are in the crowd? Yay, I like that. Got to give a plug for our Hornets, especially when we're at Sac State, right? He has a bachelor's degree from San Jose State University as well. He's been employed at the Sacramento and Santa Clara County Offices of Education, Elk Grove and North Sacramento School Districts, California State Department of Education visiting educator, and at Los Rios and Yuba Community College District. He has 35 years volunteering on numerous committees and projects in Yolo County and surrounding communities. Being a first-generation Latino college graduate, how many of you are first-generation college graduates in your family? Love that. It's great. He understands the urgency of closing the racial achievement gap. He understands that Latino students are currently making up 55% of the over 29,000 students attending Yolo County schools. As a superintendent, he says he's going to focus on closing the Latino student achievement gap. Help me welcome Jesse Ortiz.
Good morning. Who's the timekeeper? Because I tend to get a little bit on minute here. You'll let me know when there's a minute left? Thank you. First of all, I want to thank the United Latinos for giving me the opportunity this morning. I would want to say that I will not be able to stay for lunch. As running for any county body, you tend to get very busy. And again, my Yolo County includes Woodland, Davis, West Sacramento, Winters, and Esparto and Aurora areas. This morning I was in Davis from 7:30 till I got here about 9:40. I'm expected to be in Winters from 12 to 4 this afternoon. So I apologize for not staying for lunch. My limited 5 minutes is going to focus on a couple of things. One, I want you to know a little bit about me, which was already spoken by Alice, but also about two of the areas that I want to focus on as the Yolo County Superintendent. But not only touch Yolo County, but touch California in general, especially when it relates to Latinos and low-income youth. And that is preschool and third grade reading level. So, as I understand, the United Latinos, one of their missions is to provide leadership on public policy. I hope to convince you, the leaders of United Latinos, to take in consideration the issue of preschool, the impact it makes not only on every youth in California, but low-income and Latino students, because I really truly believe that education reform has to start there. So I hope that that is an issue, is a public policy issue that you would take into effect. Born in Yolo County, raised first-generation Latino in Woodland. I'm the product of three American equalizers, I should say. One, I'm a product of the public schools of Yolo County, specifically Woodland. I don't have to give you the demographics of California. 6.2 million students, California public schools, 53% of them are Latino. We're not going away. In 2013, 50% of the births in California were Latino. 2013. By the year 2030, it's going to be close to 55%. We're not going away. Also in 2013, just to give kind of a correlation here, only 30% of the births were white. So I tell you, the public schools will continue to grow, no secret. I'm a product of the community college system. Those of you that know the community college system understand that the great equalizer in terms of getting a second chance for people of color, especially Latinos in California, lays on the community college system. About 37% of the community college system is Latino, close to 800,000 or more. 75% of the Latinos in higher education California system are in the community college system. We have to do a better job of getting Latinos through the A to G to qualify for the UC and CSU system. When today in California, only 25% of the Latino students are eligible. Let me give you statistics for the class of 2012. First of all, a real short story. Recently, I put on a conference for Hispanic serving institutions for Northern California. And I want to thank our Honorable Cruz Reynoso for being there and being a part of a panel, someone who I admire. By the way, is also endorsed me. But during that conference planning, I have a brother who's a parole agent and law enforcement cousin, and he happened to be in my house and saw a packet that I had there that said Hispanic serving institutions. Now, these guys aren't in education. They're old timers in the sense of we should be doing. Their initial reaction to Hispanic serving institutions was, are you talking about the state prison system? I was not shocked, but it took me back. Why is that you? In the class of 2012, 8,000 Latinos were admitted to the University of California, incoming freshmen. Now, I want to let you know that in California, we have approximately 193,000 Latinos that graduate every year in California. But what we don't know and don't talk about is the 20 to 30,000 that we lost that did not graduate. 8,000 went to the UC system. For that same class of entry in 2012, 12,000 entered our California institutions, prison systems. Today, that number has not changed. We have to do something about it. Again, I'm proud to be part of the community college system. It's a system that does make a difference. We do know that in California, presently, 2 out of every 3 jobs require some kind of training after high school. We do know that by the year 2025, we're going to need 2.3 million people that either have certificates, AA degrees, or BA degrees. And over 1 million of those have to be BA degrees. And the people we have to rely on are the current workforce and the future workforce, and that is the Latino student population. We don't have the numbers to take those jobs. We do not have the numbers. What's going to make the difference? What should make the difference is we have to start at the beginning, and that means at preschool level. To me, when you look at educational reform over the last 40 years, we've had a lot. One of the ones that comes to mind is the 1965 Civil Rights Act. And as I look out in the audience,
families who, for whatever reasons, don't finish their high school or didn't have the opportunity to, they depend on adult education. They do. Their entire well-being, the health, the safety of their family depends on it. And yet, because of the economic crisis we faced in the last few years, what happened, of course, was adult education has been, in effect, defunded for the last few years. Now, finally, there's a little bit more money, and the question is, which counties and which districts are going to step up and start funding adult education again? Would you commit to doing that? To me, that's very important.
I already have. There's a bill called AB 86, and you're right, Manny, that part of the consequence of the new funding formula for K-12 is basically eliminating adult education in terms of high school diploma, GED, and some career tech education. And what it's done in the year 2016, there will not be adult education as you know it. And different counties are different in the way some school districts have no adult education. But the fact that literacy, what it plays in our Latino community and adult population, is necessary through adult ed. It's necessary for retraining. AB 86 is a bill that has community colleges and school districts working together to basically revamp adult education. We have 2 years to do that. I'm one of the leading participants in Yolo County on that, specifically in the Woodland area. It's an issue, but I believe it was an unintended consequences of Jerry Brown's bill. I think it's going to be corrected, but I can't say enough about the fact that we only have about 18% of the Latino community with BA degrees in California. We need literacy, and we're all aware if you, as an adult, are literate, that makes a difference in your children's life, just the way in terms of maybe reading the book, which I can go into detail about the importance of preschool or children at a young age, just getting to learn words, that comes from literacy from the adult.
Okay.
One more question.
Sure.
Last one. Sure.
Yes. Yes, my name is Christina Cervantes. I had the privilege of attending a summit with the Obama administration, and it was a think tank to generate strategies and issues that were real important to us as Americans everywhere. My biggest thing that I articulated, and I'm going to articulate it again today, is that there is a need to address balance between making sure our community gets the necessary technological skills to keep up pace, because we're falling way behind, even though it's integrated somewhat in some of the districts, not all the districts. What is your plan to keep a balance of integrating the technology so that we can help progress Latinos to the forefront, and at the same time deal with the illiteracy issues that we have?
I hear two questions, or maybe three. First of all, let me address the issue of IT or technology. The Public Policy Institute of California came out with actually 2 different studies in the last 3 years, and it shows Latino, the communities, and particularly in the rural area in California, do not have access to broadband. That's a concern. When you go to Colusa County, Williams, Arbuckle, and I happen to go there once a week, 80% Latino, 90% low income, one of the lowest college going rates. They don't even have access in Williams to fill out a college app in terms of online. That's a problem. In terms of what I'm going to do as a county superintendent, my role as a county superintendent is to work with the 5 school districts and the 5 superintendents. I personally do not have the authority to tell the districts how to spend their money on information technology. But I think most school districts, depending on the resources, know it has to be done, especially now with the new testing services going into effect. So obviously I would be a strong supporter, but also I'm concerned about what's going on in our communities of Latinos, the Latino community. And there was a third question you asked, I can't remember the third. Illiteracy. I kind of mentioned that. I believe that AB 86, as Manny said, adult ed, is critical. I think in Woodland, there's a big push. We have a Latino library committee that works on getting especially farm workers into the library and children. You know, one of the things that we have to do though is we have to make sure that children get their library card. That's a start. And what happens next? We hope that the adult gets to the library. And there's a lot of literacy programs in the state of California, and I know a number in Yolo County, that we need to take advantage more as a Latino community.
I'll just keep as a comment because I know we're running late. So my name is Miguel Cordova and I work at the Department of Education and I'm a member of Local 1000. And so the one thing I just want to say, I think it's all, you know, we hear all the time, and I'm not saying you're in that position, but the big thing is that you've got to keep these issues. Education is about priorities, right? And in the end, you know, like you were just talking about what we have out there in terms of technology and the fact that statewide testing is going, and it's going to be online, right? And that's a big problem when our kids don't even know how to use these things. And so how are those assessments going to roll out? But the bottom line is that race always somehow gets murmured and then all of a sudden never gets mentioned, and you have to talk about those disparities. You have to keep talking about putting it out there about where Latinos are, where African American kids are, where first generation kids are. Because the bottom line is that when it comes right down to it, people get elected and then they don't want to talk about race because it's too controversial. Without keeping that on the forefront, we're not going to be a priority. And so that's my comment, and I urge you and I hope that you will do that.
If you know my history, I've never let go of talking about race. That's been an issue, good or bad, in Yolo County, but that's who I am. The fact that Tom Torlakson is endorsed me, the fact that the Yolo County Democratic Party is endorsed me, the fact that the California Teachers Association is endorsed me, the fact that Cruz Reynosa is endorsed me, the fact that 50 to 55 Yolo County elected and former elected officials endorsed me. They believe in the message that I'm bringing to the table. So they know the history that I have, particularly working with Latino families and students of low income. Gracias.